It's time for the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU, the official local sports show here in Glasgow and Barron County. And now, alongside John Butler, here is your host, James Brown.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag, presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. James Brown, John Butler here again this week. And, John, usually we'd start out the show by talking about some high school basketball or something like that. But we're going to actually start out by talking about the Super Bowl. I thought it may have been one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen if you like watching a team play really good defense and another team not play offense at all for most of the game. I think the Patriots had 7 consecutive possessions where they punted. Is that something like that?
Yeah, if you like punts, I guess it's a great Super Bowl. I thought it was awful, to be honest with you. I thought the last 2 Super Bowls were if it's supposed to be the premier game of the year and it's in front of the biggest audience worldwide, not the most exciting game I've ever watched.
I don't think anybody who said that the real Super Bowl was the one between the Rams and the Seahawks 2 weeks ago was wrong. I think that was the game between the two best teams.
Two best teams, right.
That's what I'm saying. If the championship game is the championship game and it's supposed to be Super Bowl, it was actually the NFC championship game. And I think that also kind of showed that the AFC, that people talked about it all year, and I think we've talked about it on this show, the AFC was not very strong this year. Probably not
as strong. When Mahomes and Burrow and Lamar Jackson don't even make the playoffs. That takes a little bit of luster away. But, the Seahawks were the best team. I thought they'd win. I thought New England would play a little bit better offensively. New England was fine defensively. But Drake May was not very good, and he's not played well in the playoffs. I do think he has a shoulder issue. He admitted in the press conference after the game for taking a shot. A cortisone shot, some shot before the game to numb it, so that's never a good sign.
No.
But he looked overwhelmed. It's his second year. He'll bounce back. It's his second year. But I think New England, they played the easiest schedule in football this year. And, in fact, they had the easiest schedule of all time for somebody in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I do think that probably played a role in their 14-win, 15, 16-win, whatever they ended up being, 16 and whatever at the end of the year. They did get the benefit of playing a very easy schedule. I do think that was partly why they got there. And then when they got to the playoffs, they beat a Charger team in the first round at home that was basically decimated with their offensive line. They beat a Texan team that their quarterback fell apart.
Right.
And then they beat Denver on the road 10-7. I think it was 10-7.
Yeah.
With their backup quarterback. So it's not like they were surging at the end offensively.
No.
I do like Mike Vrabel. I do think they've got a good team. I don't think in any way, shape, or form they're a great team. And Seattle just basically dominated them. The score was not really indicative of end up being 29-13. It seemed like it was greater than that. In fact, I think Seattle, knowing they were defensively dominating so much, was probably a little bit more conservative offensively. Just because the only way New England was ever going to get in the game was a mistake that Seattle would make, and they didn't make any.
It looked like a football game where one team, this being the Patriots, knew that they were in trouble early, and so they kind of covered up and tried to take as many punches as possible without getting knocked out. Meanwhile, Seattle, because they don't really have an explosive offense, especially with Jackson Smith and Jigba having the concussion. He didn't play much of a factor in this game.
I didn't think he would play a big factor because the one thing New England has always done with Belichick and now Vrabel is they take away a team's number one receiver.
Yeah.
They got a great corner defensive back in Christian Gonzalez, who's either on him or if he's not on him, they double team him and they put Christian Gonzalez on the second receiver. So I never thought that he was going to have a big game. It's just that as long as Seattle played mistake-free, they were. I didn't see them losing after a while. It didn't take me long after watching the first couple of downs and so forth that New England was in trouble because quarterback of New England, Zach May.
Drake May. Yeah.
Drake May. I'm sorry. He looked like he had looked the last couple of games. Not very good. And it's hard to win when your quarterback's not playing well.
Well,
and he didn't play well. Seattle had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But still, he didn't play well either.
Yeah. The thing about the Seahawks is that they knew the other team was covering up and just taking punches. So they weren't throwing haymakers. They were taking what was given to them.
They were smart. They settled for field goals.
Yep.
Didn't go for any fourth downs.
Yep.
3 points here, 3 points there. They were quite confident. New England scored late, but it was the game was over. Seattle had backed off defensively. They just didn't want to give up. They were willing to give up points as long as New England, had to spend 5, 6, 7 minutes trying to to score.
Yeah.
Their clock was their friend. So again, the yardage after the game is not indicative of any way of how dominant Seattle was.
I think in the first half, was it New England had 51 yards of offense? It
was worse than Super Bowl history, I believe.
Yeah.
So, it's another story. There's so many ways you can win.
Yeah.
Everybody has gone the last so many years. Who's the hot shot offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Well, McDonald of Seattle is the defensive coordinator. For Baltimore. So, and it kind of. The one thing that's proven very hard to win, you got to have good quarterback play, but you don't have to have the highest paid quarterbacks. In fact, when your quarterback takes up 20-25% of your salary cap, it's very difficult to win. And this is another situation where the Seattle quarterback, Sam Darnold, who's been on his 5th team, great reclamation product. Won 14 games at Minnesota last year, but I don't guess it was good enough for Minnesota to re-sign him. He goes from and then Minnesota falls apart with that.
Right, J.J. McCarthy.
But Sam Darnold's making for us he's making $35 million a year, which is unbelievably
good money.
But he's not making 60.
Yeah.
55 like the top quarterbacks.
Right.
And when you can pay your quarterback something like that, and then that gives you room to have a good offensive line, good defensive line, draft well, and then you can really do things. It's really hard when your quarterback, no matter how talented they are, takes up all the money.
Yeah.
It's hard to be good defensively and all that other stuff. You got to be really lucky with a really good young draft. And Seattle was really, really good.
I think the interesting thing about the Seahawks and going back to the Sam Darnold thing was they didn't ask him to do more than he was capable of doing. And on top of that, they did something that people said they couldn't do, which was run the football. I mean, they gave Kenneth Walker the ball, I think, 27 times before the game was said and done. And that had not been how they had really gotten things done. But what had happened was Charbonnet, their other running back, was knocked out in the playoffs, and so Kenneth Walker had to carry that load. And they've kind of been a team this year that has played with no one as a star on the offensive side other than Jackson Smith and Jigba. Everybody else on the offensive side is either a reclamation project or not really, a big name, that kind of thing. But they've made. It's almost like watching the Ravens maybe from 2003 window, where it's like people on offense do what we ask you to do. Our defense will make sure we don't lose the game as long as you don't let us lose the game.
I agree with that. Other than that, I think Sam Darnold is above average.
He is.
He's won 14 games last year and then put up 16 wins this year. He's won 30 games in 2 years.
He's better than people think he is.
He's much better.
Yeah.
He's much better. I mean, he just so happened to be drafted by the Jets. Nobody wins with the Jets.
It's like being drafted by the Browns.
But obviously he had enough talent. He's the 3rd pick in the draft. So when you're the 3rd pick, you get more chances.
Yeah.
If you're drafting the 6th round and get cut, it's hard to people give up on you. But he's obviously talented enough and got his went to Carolina, and it's hard to do well there. And then probably his break was when he was the backup quarterback for San Francisco for Shanahan.
Yeah.
And Shanahan's a great guru of quarterbacks, probably got him back on track, then went to Minnesota and played for Kevin O'Connell, a great offensive coordinator, and that's where he broke through with with a great year. Just didn't play well in the playoff.
Right.
His first experience, and they basically decided to pay go with their rookie quarterback rather than pay Darnold.
Right.
And that comes to look like a bad decision. And
Seattle thanks them.
Seattle That's correct. Grabbed him and wins the Super Bowl with him. It's a great story. And Darnold is one of the – you don't see a lot in professional sports who is humble as he is.
Yeah.
Very, very quiet, humble. Even after a great play, you don't see the shenanigans, the pointing to himself and doing all that other stuff.
Right.
He just goes – he does it a lot of old school way, and something that I wish more players would do.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed the Super Bowl myself. I guess I like watching defense, especially when defense is dismantling the other team. And
I like competitiveness. And
yeah,
I didn't
it wasn't competitive.
It wasn't competitive.
No.
I can handle 17-16, 20-17. But the offense has got to be competitive too.
Yeah.
There has to be something. And New England, for the most part, was not competitive because the quarterback play just had a bad day.
Well, he did, and also his offensive lineman. It was like a swinging gate out there.
It did, but there was still time to. It wasn't. It's not like they got 20 sacks and things like that. I mean, they got pressure, and a lot of it, he just hung on the ball too much. You could tell he was lost.
He was.
And had lost his confidence and so forth. I mean, I think he had a lot to do with it. He just didn't play well. And, I think he would admit to that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I for the most part, I enjoyed the Super Bowl.
It's just a lot. The 2 weeks and the build up. It's just.
I don't like all that part.
It's just a lot.
I usually, to be honest with you, I generally tune out between the championship games and the Super Bowl. I really don't pay attention to what else is going on. I just, when the game comes on, I watch the game.
I agree with that.
And I think that helps me deal with it.
I'm the same
way.
way. I'm sorry. I don't watch any of the build up.
Yeah.
I don't watch halftime. I turn the channels during the commercials. I'm not even watching those things.
But you're killing them, John. They're trying to get people to buy stuff, and here you are switching channels.
10 million an ad, is that right? I think
something like that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people watching, so I guess there's a lot of money to spend on it.
That's exactly right.
All right, this is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll come back here in a little bit, and before we get out of this break, I wanted to mention something. Our athlete of the week this week, presented by Aero Safety, is Dylan Pointer, a pitcher at Barron County High School. You can go on the WCLU radio website and check out his profile and learn more about him. And congratulations to Dylan Pointer there. This is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Welcome home to Local Sports with James Brown and the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag. James Brown and John Butler here on WCLU Radio, presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. Go get yourself an unsweet tea. That's what I drink, or whatever else you would like to eat over there at McDonald's. We're going to talk about some high school basketball. Everybody took a week off, and then Barron County's boys, they decided to try to play 3 weeks in one. They played 4 games last week. They won 3 of them, but they did lose on Saturday at Allen County Scottsville in a crazy game, to be honest with you. But we'll get to that here in a little bit. It had to be overall an encouraging week for Coach Cunningham because they won handily against Ohio County on Friday night, which I think was the 3rd or 4th ranked team out of the 3rd region. They defended them well. They're 3-point shooting teams. They won that game, I think 70-47 was the final score. But then they scrapped out a couple of wins, 65-60 over Cumberland County and then 51-50, I think it was, over Franklin Simpson before the loss on Saturday night. So I guess if you're a coach and you look at your team's outcomes during that week, you didn't want to lose the district game at Allen County, but overall, you won games in every way possible, I guess, last week, John.
Yeah, overall it's a success. Won 3 out of 4, and that's coming off a stretch, even though they were off a week, in which Barron had lost,
like 6 out of 7 or something like that.
6 out of 7. So, yeah, start off 65-60 against Cumberland. Kate Hardy, 23. They were 8 out of 19 from threes.
Yep.
Then beat Franklin down at Franklin, 51-50, and they were 7 out of 20 from threes. And I think Kate Hardy made a big shot late to put Barron up.
Yeah.
Then they had to defend at the end. Franklin had a shot to win at the end, and Barron defended the inbounds play quite well. And their best win was against Ohio County. Ohio County was like 19-3.
Mm-hmm.
and top 3 in the 3rd region, and Barron destroyed them 70-47. I mean, Cam Pippen had a career high, I believe it was a career high, 25 points.
Yeah.
I think he had 4 to 5 threes himself. Barron was 10 of 25 in threes, and that was by far their best performance. And then Saturday, the disappointing loss. The relevance of losing to Allen County, there's really no relevance. They're going to play Allen regardless if they won or lose in the first round of the district. But you don't like losing to your rival, 56-50, and Barron got outscored 15-6 in the last quarter. I think that kind of made it a little bit worse. And Allen basically just kind of out-physicaled them a little bit. And Barron has got to find a way to inside at times to finish shots and so forth. And Allen's playing well. Allen's won 3 or 4 in a row. Where we'll talk about the Glasgow game. Allen blew out Glasgow the night before, and so that was the only disappointing game, 56-50. Barron was 5 of 26 from 3. Where they've been shooting the ball well the previous 3 games. They did not against Allen, but overall, good week. 3 out of 4 to go 14-10 for the year.
Yeah, I to some degree, maybe they ran out of gas a little bit in the fourth quarter of that game at Allen County. But also, Allen shot 30 free throws in that game, and Barron shot 14.
Well, Coach Cunningham was not critical of the officials. He was critical of his own team.
It was just a matter of he felt like his team just didn't compete, and that's why the foul difference was there.
Yeah, not going up strong,
I got you.
Not taking the ball harder to the basket.
Shying away from contact, that kind of thing.
Things like that. Yeah, he was not very didn't say one negative thing about the official. I think he's more disappointing in his team down the stretch.
Right. And you mentioned the Glasgow game the night before. Allen also shot a bunch of free throws in that game and beat Glasgow 90-75. And you want to talk about a disappointing, I guess, a little stretch here if you're Coach Stockton. It's not – you've played a good group of teams in the last couple of weeks, right? But your team has not played defense well at all in those games, and you can't do that against good opponents. And then you turn around and play Allen. Allen's not a team that's going to typically score 90 points in a game. And you managed to play in such a way that you allow them to score 90.
Yeah, Allen. Glasgow is, I think to say a little disappointing here lately. They're now 11-11.
Yeah.
And they've lost 3 straight, and they've lost 5 of 6.
Yeah.
And have not played well, I think it's fair to say, at all since the break.
Right.
Losing at Apollo. We'll give them that one, first game back. But the Caverna loss, 56-89, giving up 89 to Caverna. Caverna does not score a lot of points. They gave up 89 and just got blitzed in the second half. And then the Allen County game was very disheartening. Give up 90 to Allen. 90-75. That's and you could a couple things. When a coach takes out all 5 starters during the game, they're generally pretty angry. And Coach Stockton pulled 5 starters out in the third quarter just to see if something else could happen.
Yeah.
And you could tell after the game he was very disappointed in his comments. Landon Minton had a good day. He had 19 points, and both Bradley and Martin had 17. But just there's really no reason why Glasgow cannot guard Allen County.
Right.
Now, Allen County's got some decent offensive players. Pedigo, for one, I think he had close to 35 maybe.
Yeah.
He had a bunch. But Glasgow's got to find that back. Now, if you're going to have a mini slump, it's better now than 2 weeks from now. And
right.
The good news for 2 weeks from now is that Glasgow should be able to beat Warren East. Warren East is 1-20.
Yeah.
To get it back together. But I think there's probably going to be a little bit more urgency this week with Glasgow. They got a game tonight with John Hardin. They should win. But they need to come out and kind of. It needs to be a win in which they play well and win.
Yeah, they jump on them. They basically defend them. Don't let them get in. Stay in the game. They do to them what the Seahawks did to the Patriots. Just
correct. You're
better. Make sure they don't feel like they have a chance to win the game.
That's right.
And play with that intensity from the get-go. And you mentioned that that is a good game for them. John Hardin usually is pretty good, but they're not great this year. They're down this year. They might be just above Fort Knox in that district this year, which would put them way down there. So it's also a game where you should be better than them, and you got to come out and make sure that they never think, hey, I got a chance in this game. But I think it really starts. I mean, you said this before. if your shots are going in, you play better defense. But sometimes you got to play defense until your shots go in. Don't you think?
You do. It's harder mentally. It's harder and so forth. But that's what really good teams do.
Right.
And it's right now, from the defensive perspective, that's the most noticeable right now with Glasgow. Just not guarding people, and they've been good for the most part defensively. There's no reason why they shouldn't be good. They're athletic. They're long. Yeah. They got some shot blockers. Right now, it's probably focused. Yeah. Playing hard for the entire game, 32 minutes, and getting kind of that mojo back that they had before the layoff.
Right. Meanwhile, you were talking about Verna doesn't score a bunch of points. They beat LaRue County 39-37 on Friday.
That's right.
And I just theorized that the two coaches of those teams just decided, we're not going to do anything. In terms of like show anybody anything or do anything different. We're just going to play, and maybe LaRue decided they were just going to stand around and watch, and Caverna's going to stand around and watch, and that was the outcome of that game.
I didn't see the game. I don't know.
It's kind of a shocking score for a game between those two teams, though.
Well, for LaRue, that's extremely low scoring.
Yeah, right.
Because they normally really shoot it well. Tells you how good defensively Caverna is.
Right.
Caverna has not scored at the pace they did last year. I think part of it is because they're playing much more in the half court.
Yeah.
They're so much better defensively. But, that's very, very low scoring. I didn't see the game, so I don't really know. You're right. I don't think you pull out all your tricks. I mean, you're not going to play box and chaser and all that other stuff if that's in your bag. But it's still games you want to win.
Yeah.
So it's, who knows? LaRue and Caverna are both two of the top 5 teams in the region. I think Caverna is, you can argue, is 1 or 2 with probably Adair and North are the other two. And LaRue is in that top 5 category too.
Yeah. Tonight, Caverna hosts Hart County, and it is homecoming, and they are doing the Glory Road thing tonight. So that's where the Kentucky Basketball Hall of Fame comes, and they hang a plaque in your gym, and it indicates, it has some historical relevance. And I think this is probably related to the old, not just Caverna, but the old Horse Cave High School that won a state championship like in '49 or something like that. It's had quite a run over there, going back, many decades.
Sure.
So that's going on tonight. And on the girls' side of things, Barron County last week proved that they are by far the best team in the 4th region.
Yes.
And they beat the other 3 teams that are supposed to be close to them.
Yeah, they beat 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Barron's 22-2 and 6-0, and just they're on it'll take a huge performance, I think, to knock them off. The first game we played against Cumberland was the closest game, 63-49. I called the game. I was impressed with Cumberland.
Yeah.
And I think Cumberland could be a threat. They're not deep. They play about 6.
Yeah.
But they're very solid, juniors, seniors, and so forth. And that was Cumberland's first game in a while. And that's the only caveat I would say. Cumberland, that was their first game in about 2 weeks, and so was Franklin. And Barron had a couple games before that. That's the only caveat that I would even throw out there. But Barron is just shooting it so well. Against Cumberland, Burton and Slagle had 17 points, and Barron was 9 of 25 from 3. Now, that percentage doesn't look great, but it's over 33%, and 9 threes is a lot for most teams to overcome.
Right.
Against Franklin, I thought Barron was probably sitting on this game, because Franklin had knocked them off earlier.
Yeah.
And Franklin had added that new point guard out of Nashville, but Barron just torched them 75-49. Bird had 21, Burton 20, McFall off the bench had 3 threes, and they were 13 of 22. You're not beating them when Barron goes 13 of 22, and that was a rout.
Yeah.
And then against Allen on Saturday, again, you can probably I don't know how much you'll put into that one because
Avery Morris didn't play that game.
Did not play. Played against Glasgow the night before.
Yeah, right.
But did not play Saturday, which is a little interesting, maybe a little game.
She got hurt Tuesday, I think it was,
against Cumberland County. She sprained her ankle against Cumberland County in their loss against Cumberland Tuesday.
Yeah.
But did play against Glasgow and played pretty effective.
Yeah, played a lot of minutes, too.
Played a lot of minutes, and, there may just be trying to be a little careful, playing back-to-back or whatever when the game didn't really matter.
Right.
And Barron won 75-45. Ann Ashley Atkinson had a big game. She had 17 points. Barron had 7 threes in that game and just blew out Allen. And, it's when Barron is consistently in the 60s or 70s, and very few girls teams around here.
Right.
There's really nobody that much in the region. Allen can score.
Yeah.
When Morris plays. But there's really just nobody that puts up points like they do in this region. I mean, you got to go out of region, like next week against Taylor County, somebody like that. But with 2 weeks to go to the tournament, Barron is rightfully a heavy favorite. I think they're a top 20 team in the state.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised they haven't been ranked, to be honest with you. Maybe partly is they haven't played. Well, have they played anywhere north of Bowling Green?
That's what I was going to say.
Bowling Green in this area, they really have. They went to Campbellsville, but they haven't ventured out anywhere across the state, and that's probably hurt them in terms of.
That's what I was going to say. They did not play in any of those high-profile
They didn't go to Lexington, Louisville, or even Owensboro.
Yeah,
they didn't. So they've been all within probably a 30-mile radius around here. So that's probably one reason. But there's no question to me that they're very formidable. Taylor County, who will come in next week, will be a really good challenge. They just beat Cooper, who's like 3 in the state.
Yeah.
But, they go to Metcalf, and we'll see. Metcalf's been dealing with some sickness and injuries, and they've been taking some lumps here lately. So we'll see.
Yeah, they like you said, they have the Metcalf County game, and then that'll be a pretty interesting. Next week will be the really interesting week, I think, for them in terms of like playing Taylor County.
Well, Taylor, they've got 3 games. They got 2 games this week. They got Clinton on Friday.
Yeah,
shouldn't be much of a trouble, and then 3 games next week.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Glasgow Lady Scotties, they did pick up the win over Caverna on Tuesday, and talking about the Avery Morris, I mean, it wasn't Avery Morris that killed Glasgow on Friday night. It was actually Patrick that killed him.
Yeah, she had about 30, didn't she?
Yeah, I think she had 29 and 12 or something like that.
Glasgow was competitive in the first half.
Yeah.
But then got destroyed in the second. Third quarter was like 27-5, something like that. Ended up losing 75-40. Kirkpatrick, she had 16. I think Jacali Green had 12. And, again, competitive for a while.
Yeah.
Just not enough to beat a decent team late or whatever. But, they had played a little bit better lately. They're 6-16 and have won 2 out of the last 3, I believe.
Yeah.
They go to Greene County tonight, which won't be easy over there. But, you see some improvement. They've lost like 11 in a row at one time.
Yeah.
And now got a little bit of reprieve because even though one of their losses lately was to Barron, they played pretty well in the first half.
Yeah.
So, a little bit shown a little bit more here lately.
Mm-hmm.
Do they play Barron in the first round of the district, or is that going to be a coin flip between Barron, Warren East and Glasgow?
It might be the coin flip,
okay.
So we may not actually know that one yet.
Okay. They're both 1 and 5, right?
Yeah. The district meeting is next Wednesday, the 18th.
Okay.
So we'll know then.
Okay.
Anything else on the high school basketball front that stood out to you?
2 weeks left.
Yeah, that's right.
2 weeks before the tournament. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, it rolls through. It lasts forever, but ends quickly.
Did we talk about the draw, the KSWSA draw?
I don't know that we did.
4th region girls drew the 6th region.
Yep. That's not a bad draw.
It's not terrible. No, it's a Louisville one, but it's not Sacred Heart or Emmanuel. It's Louisville, Butler, Bullitt East, those teams. It's not a bad draw.
And those Bullitt teams are not as good this year as they have been.
That's correct.
I think Butler is the best team in that region now.
That's right. And I think the boys 5th, they may have drawn the 3rd.
They did.
Okay.
So that would probably be Davis County or Grayson County.
Could be.
Both of those are pretty good this year.
Decent.
Yep. All right, it's the Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
This is the Brown Sports Bag with James Brown on WCLU.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag, where I'm running a foul line wheel presented by McDonald's of
I
Glasgow.
don't even know what you're talking about. A foul line wheel.
So it's basically like the Harlem Globetrotter thing. I don't know what.
I think it's called a weave.
They do. I covered a coach one time. He referred to it as the foul line wheel.
Never heard of it.
He would yell wheel whenever his team was up by a certain amount, and they'd basically run the Harlem Globetrotter thing up like at the foul line out to the 3-point line.
All right.
And they just run it until backdoor cut somebody and then hit a layup. So he liked to run all kinds of what I refer to as nonsense plays, but he liked them. So I don't know. You never ran that to win a game?
No, can't say I have.
Yeah.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, like the weave. You run the weave to win a game?
To win a game?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I guess to make sure. I guess to seal the win.
To stall, you're talking about?
Yeah, but it's a stall. But instead of just standing out there staring at each other,
Oh, okay.
it's got
That's why we need a shot clock.
Yes, and we'll get one 2 years next year.
Yeah, get rid of these weaves and wheels.
It's going to start in 27, 28, right?
I think so.
Yeah. All right. So there'll be no more standing around. There'll be no more 39, 37 games unless the people are shooting like 10 of 60.
I'm all for it.
All right. Well, let's talk about a sport where they do have a shot clock. That's college basketball, and there is a month left in the season. Arizona is still undefeated, and right now Louisville is 7th in the ACC. Kentucky is 2nd in the SEC, and that surprised me, honestly. And WKU is 7th in Conference USA. Which one of those three do you want to start with?
We'll start with Louisville since you mentioned them first.
Yeah.
They're in good position. I mean, 7th in the ACC. I mean, I think there's outside of Duke, there's 6 teams within one game of each.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of their losses were without their point guard.
Yeah.
And when he plays, it's a
totally different team.
Totally different team. I still think they're a good team. I think when he plays, and they're probably better than they were last year. Their top end is better.
Yes, that's right.
So I think they're in good shape. They got a good game. They got a big game tonight. They play against a pretty good North Carolina State game tonight at home. They need to get that home win. But yeah, I'm not discouraged, for Louisville at all. Kentucky is, you got to give Mark Pope credit. He's turned them around in a lot of ways. To suffer some of the blowouts that they have suffered this year.
Yeah.
Where they've just been non-competitive at halftime. They've had so many comeback wins. Again, double-digit comeback win Saturday against Tennessee, almost a carbon copy of the one at Tennessee.
Right.
And sometimes coaches do better when they lose players. Now, you can't lose your best players.
Right.
But sometimes when instead of trying to play 10, you can only play 7 or 8.
Uh-huh.
It gives those players that are playing more confidence that they're not coming out every time they miss a shot.
Right. Yeah.
They get in the flow a little bit better, and I think that's kind of what's happened with Kentucky. Plus, Ortega is playing like he should have been playing all year. Preseason Player of the Year, and now he's playing like it. He's put up 20 consistently every game.
Yeah.
The Chandler is now playing really, really well. He makes big shots.
Yeah.
He's got one of those big shot fields, and he had a huge 3 against Tennessee with about 20 seconds to go to put Kentucky up. He's playing well. Marino, the freshman inside player, is playing well. And, Kentucky, do I think they're great? No, I don't think their ceiling isn't high as Louisville's.
Right.
Because I just don't see that. But and can they beat really good teams like a Florida, Alabama? I'm not for sure.
Right.
But give Mark Pope credit. He's, kind of had to make a mid-year adjustment, and they've done that. Give him credit.
Well, and also he's heard a whole lot of chirping that Pat Kelsey doesn't have to deal with at Louisville. It's just a byproduct of coaching at Kentucky, I think, where not only you having to think about your decisions, but a lot of people are helping you think about your decisions, and you got to tune all that out.
Part of
and
it
stay focused on your team.
When you have the highest paid roster in the country.
That's right. You're going to get some chirping,
and you play as bad as they played earlier in the year.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
It's kind of, you earned it in a way.
That's right.
But yeah, I looked down and I saw that because I hadn't really paid attention to where they were in the SEC, and I figured they were probably about 5th or 6th because of how some of their games
they're
are going.
second, but the SEC,
not as good as it was last year.
Oh, well, they're great last year. Maybe
Yeah.
the best in conference history.
Yeah.
What they get 11 or 12 people in,
Yeah.
11 or 12 teams, maybe more than that into the tournament. Of course,
Right.
Florida ends up winning it. Maybe the highest. I'm trying to think who the highest ranked SEC team is. Kentucky's still not ranked. Probably should be, but Florida, I guess,
Yeah.
and they're not in the top 10.
Right.
So it's got some really good teams, but nothing great. Oh, Vanderbilt was up there at one time,
Yeah.
and but Vanderbilt has suffered some losses here lately.
Right. Meanwhile, WKU is 7th in Conference USA. They're not great this year. They're really struggling.
Yeah, they finally got a win against FIU Saturday. They played a horrific game Thursday.
Yeah. Was that Kennesaw State? Was it?
No, it's Jacksonville State.
That's right.
On national TV,
Yeah.
CBS Sports Channel, which there were a ton of technicals, ejection. Just an ugly game to watch, to be honest with you. They're missing their best player. He's not played. He's had a concussion. Carson, I've now gone blank. He's their leading scorer, 17 a game. He hadn't played in about 4 or 5 games. They desperately need him.
Yeah.
But they've been close at times, but it's been a struggle. To be honest with you, they're at that 11-11, 12-11 range, and so forth. They're competitive, but they're a lot better when the kid that's been hurt is playing. A lot better, like most teams are. But he's a good player, and they need him back.
Yeah. They don't. It's not a matter of competitiveness. Their talent level doesn't look as good this year as maybe they've had in a few years, 3 or 4 years prior to this. But maybe that's just a byproduct of the nature of basketball and college sports in general, where your talent level can look wildly different from year to year.
It can. It's a tough situation. They're playing, college basketball and college sports in general. They're playing in a time right now. We're in a 2 or 3 year window when there's absolutely zero rules.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever rules they come up with, you get a local judge in Alabama says, well, don't worry about the rule, you can play. And absence playing, I mean, you would think, you'd have to be eligible at the school and you have so many years to play. That doesn't even seem to apply right now.
No.
So it's really, in fairness to, I would almost give any college coach during this period of time a pass.
Yeah.
Because it depends on the players that it's always dependent on the players, but now you can pay players. It's how much money you have to try to play. It's such a wild system right now that I would almost give every coach a pass right now until there's some set rules to try to figure it out. Some people have navigated better than others.
Yeah. For
whatever reason, but it's a tough situation.
On the women's side, I guess the Louisville women are still playing pretty well.
They had their 11-game win streak stamped by Duke, who's won 14 in a row. I think that was Thursday night, 58-57. Then they bounced back and beat a good Syracuse team. Louisville's for real. They're a top 10 team in the country. Coach Walls has got them back to where they were. They're really, really good.
Yeah, Kentucky doing okay, I guess.
They're doing okay. They have stumbled lately.
Yeah.
They lost a tough one to Vanderbilt, who's really good, and then they lost again after that. They are. They're still top 25, but SEC is loaded with really good teams.
Yeah, and the WKU women are struggling this year.
Yeah, they're on a 7-8 game losing streak, I believe. I think they're 4-15.
Yeah.
They're in a spot that they've only won one conference game. They're in a spot that they've haven't been in
a really long
time. Maybe
ever.
Yeah, and it's just, again, as I mentioned, I give them all passes right now.
Yeah.
Because last year they were really good. They won 20-some games last year.
Yeah.
And competed for the conference tournament. And this, they lost a player to Kentucky, who was probably Josie Gilvin, could have been preseason Conference USA Player of the Year.
Yeah.
And lost some other seniors and some other transfers, and it's hard to recover. I mean, it really is, and it has been a tough year. It's been tough. I feel for them because I'm friends with the coaching staff, and but it is what it is.
Yep. All right, it's Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
This is the Brown Sports Bag with James Brown on WCLU.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag. James Brown, John Butler, presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. John, the Olympics are going on, Winter Olympics. I didn't even really realize it until I was getting ready to watch the Super Bowl yesterday. And I was like, oh, the Olympics are going on. And
yes,
then,
the opening ceremonies was Friday.
Yeah, you know what? I'm real bad at this whenever it comes to certain things in life where I really don't pay attention to them until such time as they happen. The Olympics might be one of those things. Actually, it's not a might. It is one of those things, especially the Winter Olympics. And
I love the Olympics. I always have.
I do. I enjoy the Summer Olympics a lot, mostly because I really like track and track and field events. Mm-hmm. But there are winter events that I like. I like the speed racing, the ice speed skating, especially the groups. You know, the like sprint speeds. Mm-hmm. I like those a lot. Those are pretty entertaining. I guess that's a ice equivalent to track.
Yeah.
I did last night. I did learn that in the distance ice speed race stuff, they're doing
skating.
Like speed skating. Yes, tells you how well I paid. They were doing like 32 miles an hour on ice.
Yeah.
So they're doing a 5,000 meters in like under 7 minutes on ice, and that's what probably a good distance runner is 14 minutes.
It's tough. Yeah. No, you got to be in shape.
And a daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
What Winter Olympic events do you like most?
I like downhill skiing.
Yeah.
I was very, very interested in the men have not competed, but the women.
Yeah.
An American girl did win the downhill.
Yeah.
It wasn't Lindsey Vonn, but it was another 22-year-old. So, I mean, that's a great, gold medal in the downhill. That's probably about as big a medal you're going to get in the Winter Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah, Lindsey Vonn was out. She had tore her ACL before the Olympics.
She tore her ACL 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And not only the ACL, but the meniscus in her knee.
Yeah.
And she's 41, and she decided, she's going to try it anyway because she's had multiple injuries in her career. And crashed within the first about 13 seconds into it. It didn't look like it was the knee that caused it. She got caught on, one of the things that signs or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of got caught into one of those things and ended up broke her leg. Had to airlift her off. So that was kind of a downer. But we did win that one. I do like the downhill. I like the skating. Not the skating. I'm sorry. I like hockey.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a big skating person. Like the figure skating.
Yeah.
Not really into that.
You don't like the more artistic stuff?
No. But I do like the women's hockey and
the
men's hockey. I kind of like the women's hockey because those girls, this is it for them.
Yeah,
really.
right.
The men's hockey are NHL players that are taking time off to come over and play, and it's okay. It's like our NBA players playing in the basketball Olympics. I'm not.
That was like the women's rugby during the summer games. Whenever I really got into that, because you just don't see them otherwise.
Right.
You can watch.
And they put everything into this one event.
Yeah.
And
right.
it's kind of neat to see that. So
yeah.
So it's probably the skating. I'm sorry, the skating. I keep saying that. The skiing.
You're having as much trouble with that as
hockey.
I was speed skating.
That's right. Those are the main two. But I watch them all just because or sports I don't get to see very often and things like that.
So like curling.
That's a tough watch. It's like watching the Super Bowl yesterday in the first half. Curling is not really. Some of those are really questionable. I mean, it's really. Do
you mean they're questionable as sports?
Yes, Olympic sports. Yeah, I mean you can go to Miami to old places, and they're
bocce ball.
They're doing the same thing, except this is on ice.
Lawn bowling.
Yeah,
so,
it's a hard watch.
Yeah, I hear you. I think you don't think it's neat? They like crouch down there, they slide on their little feet next to this rock, and they got somebody out there with a broom.
No,
you're like, why don't you come to my house and sweep my house instead? That'd be great.
It'd probably be once you push the ball or whatever you're pushing, whatever you call it.
Yeah,
probably don't need somebody in front of it sweeping the whole way. It's a little silly.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Hey, man, there was a period of time when curling became the biggest winter Olympic sport just because it was so absurd. But I think that's died off, and people are back to, your more regular things of the skating and hockey and things, downhill stuff, and slaloms.
I like the bobsled and the luge.
Yeah.
Those
the luge
things.
is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you
pretty
think about
cool.
going
Yes.
60, 70 miles an hour on a
Yeah, those things are neat.
on a little red flyer looking sled there for you.
But, some of the X Games stuff, all that flipping and stuff, I'm not really into that.
No flipping.
No flipping.
No curling.
Nah, not into that.
No snowboards. No snowboards.
Ice dancing. No,
No.
not really. No.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. I hear you. I can see where some of that wouldn't be great. I don't like a lot of that stuff either. Although I am always amused by the curling, so when I catch it, I do watch it. All right, this is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be back next week.
You've been listening to the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU. Be sure to join James and John again next Monday at 4 for another edition of the Brown Sports Bag.